Ray Dalton has fixed engines since before some of his customers were born, and he cannot legally open the hood of the truck sitting in his bay. The truck isn't broken in a way a wrench can solve. It's broken in a way only the manufacturer is allowed to touch. The owner paid $81,000 for it. The problem inside it costs less than a tank of diesel to fix, if anyone will let him near it. Ray has 22 years of experience, a shop full of tools, and a certification wall that would impress any dealership. None of it matters here. What's locked inside that truck isn't a mechanical part. It's a decision made by an engineer 1,000 miles away, years before Ray ever saw the vehicle. By the end of this, you'll understand why the truck you own may no longer be fully yours, and why the industry built it that way on purpose. This isn't one mechanic's bad luck. It's the daily reality for an industry. 65.5% of diesel repair shops report they're understaffed. Nearly 1 in 5 technician positions in America sit vacant right now. Ray's customer bought the truck for hauling. 3 weeks in, a sensor fault triggered a system lockout, a safety feature technically. The truck wouldn't clear the code without a manufacturer login Ray doesn't have and can't buy. The truck sat. The owner lost $1,200 a day in downtime, which is the industry average cost of an idle work truck. The villain here isn't a person, it's a system, a secure gateway built into the truck's computer, designed originally to stop theft and hacking, that also happens to stop any mechanic who isn't authorized by the manufacturer from clearing a code or resetting a module. Stellantis built one of the first versions in 2018. Volkswagen calls theirs component protection. Every major manufacturer has some version now. The system doesn't care that Ray has the skill. It only checks whether he has the key, and the key belongs to the dealership network, not the shop floor. But this is only the surface layer. 20 years ago, a diesel mechanic needed a socket set, a multimeter, and time. Today's trucks run more lines of code than early spacecraft, and every one of those lines belongs to somebody. The shift happened gradually, then all at once. Manufacturers moved diagnostics off physical ports and onto wireless systems that report straight to corporate servers. It's called telematics-gated diagnostics. The truck talks to the manufacturer before it talks to the mechanic standing next to it. 2 words: corporate control. 3 more. Not a conspiracy. It's a business model. Every code a truck throws, every part that needs replacing, every diagnostic session, it can now be run through a dealership network that captures the revenue independent shops used to earn. Massachusetts passed the first right to repair law in 2012, forcing manufacturers to share basic diagnostic data. It worked for a while. Then the trucks got smarter, and the workaround got simpler. Gate the new data, the telematics, the over-the-air reports, behind a wall the old law never anticipated. Maine tried again in 2023. Implementation stalled. Congress introduced the Repair Act, aimed at forcing manufacturers to share diagnostic codes and calibration tools nationally. It's still moving through committee. Meanwhile, Ray waits on hold with a dealership hotline for a code his multimeter could have found in 10 minutes. But here's what most people get wrong. Most people assume this is about safety, or theft prevention, or complexity. It's about market share, and the numbers make that impossible to miss. Independent repair shops, 350,000 of them, the largest single segment of American manufacturing, currently handle 55% of the country's automotive parts and service business. Industry projections say that by 2035, their share drops to just 35%. That's not a shop losing customers to a better competitor. That's a shop losing customers to a locked-out ECU. Put another way, for every 10 repair jobs an independent shop used to get, they're on pace to lose 2 of them, not because they did worse work, but because the truck itself refused the appointment. The human cost adds up fast. Vehicle owners are projected to pay roughly $200 more per year in repair costs by 2035 because of restricted competition. Across 155 million vehicle owners, that's more than $30 billion in added costs nationwide, enough to cover the entire annual budget of a mid-sized U.S. state, paid instead into extra repair bills. Here's the counterintuitive turn. You'd expect the mechanic shortage to be the industry's biggest problem. It isn't. The mechanic shortage is real. The median diesel technician earns $60,640 a year. Training a new one costs a shop $8,211 and 357 hours. And the industry loses roughly $2.4 billion annually in lost revenue from unfilled positions. But even a fully staffed shop with veteran technicians like Ray hits the same wall a green apprentice hits, a software gate that experience cannot open. The shortage isn't the ceiling on independent repair. The lockout is. Skilled hands, locked out. That's the reveal. America isn't running out of people who can fix trucks. It's running out of trucks that legally allow them to. For a fleet manager, that math is brutal. A truck sidelined for diagnostic access instead of an actual mechanical failure still costs $1,200 a day, the same bill as a real breakdown, except this one was designed into the product. If you've ever felt like the truck you paid for doesn't fully belong to you, you were right, and almost nobody says it that plainly. Ownership used to mean the whole machine, the engine, the frame, and the right to decide who touches it. Today, ownership means the hardware. The software running that hardware is licensed, not sold, and licenses can be revoked, restricted, or simply withheld from anyone the manufacturer doesn't authorize. Most truck owners don't know this until the moment it costs them money. That's the exclusivity signal. Understanding this now, before your truck throws a code, puts you ahead of almost every other owner on the road, who will find out the hard way, sitting in a dealership waiting room instead of Ray's shop. The 22 years of experience Ray built weren't wasted. They were made conditional on a login he was never issued. The $81,000 truck wasn't overpriced for the hardware. It was priced for a service relationship the buyer didn't know they'd signed on to. And the surface layer from Section 2 was always this: a fight over who gets to hold the key to your own machine. Which brings us to what happens next. Ray finally got the access code, not from the manufacturer, but from a customer willing to pay for a $600 diagnostic subscription just so an independent shop could do a $150 repair. The repair took 11 minutes. The wait to be allowed to make it took 9 days. Every year, more trucks roll off the line running the same locked architecture, and every year, the choice about who gets to fix them moves a little further from the shop floor and a little closer to a corporate server most drivers will never see. The next mechanic who can't get in might not have Ray's customer willing to pay the toll, and the next truck might not come back at all.